Hello and good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. We are going to be hell diving again, just to kind of wake up and make today a good day. But we got plenty of new stuff coming here soon. So we're going to hell dive for now. But after this, at the end of this week, we've got Metal Gear Solid Delta coming out, which I am super, super hyped for. I cannot tell you how absolutely hyped I am for Metal Gear Solid Delta. So we're going to be playing Metal Gear Solid Delta. And then we've got Borderlands 4. Yeah, Borderlands 4 is coming out the week after that. And then we've got some World of Warcraft stuff coming up. So we are booked solid on games for a little bit. I also heard a rumor that the Division 2, which I really haven't played the Division 2 all that much, but I've heard that we are going to be getting a Battle Royale mode in the Division 2. So I am also kind of excited to try that out. So we have a lot of games to play and not enough time to play them. So we're just going to be hell diving for today and tomorrow because the new Xbox patch will launch. In fact, I don't think that's come out yet. I guess I haven't checked yet. I don't think the Xbox thing has come out yet. It should come out tomorrow. Yeah, it comes out tomorrow, so we'll be doing that also. We have too much to do and not enough time to do it. This is why someday I need to become a full-time streamer so that we can actually have the time to play and enjoy all the different things that we have coming up. So, welcome and good morning, everyone, and let us dive so that when Xbox players come in, they have a little bit easier. Excuse me. We've got these 6 billion things we need to take out, so we're going to try and make it a little bit easier on them and lower those numbers, but it's impossible without the Xbox players. We definitely need the Xbox players to come in and save our bacon, so here we go. We're diving with no one. Hopefully someone will join along the way. Good morning, everyone. I am excited for it to be Monday. Excited for the week to be over. Actually, I'm not. This weekend I have to go to the doctor. I'm not super feeling having to go to the doctor, but it's one of those things, especially as you get older, like you got to do it, right? So even if I'm not feeling the doctor, it's coming inevitably. So we're gonna get through that. But then after that, it's a long weekend because of Labor Day. So hopefully we'll get to go out and do some fun long weekend things. Maybe Emmy and I have been talking about getting away for a little bit. Maybe it's time for a beach trip or maybe some sort of something like that. So we've been talking about going somewhere, doing something. So since we have a long weekend coming up, it might be finally time to do that. So we might have some new photos or something to share once we figure out what exactly we are doing for the long Labor Day weekend. I don't know yet. Everything's on the table. If you have suggestions, I will hear them out. There is this weekend's also payday, which we've been looking very forward to payday. There is a new Mediterranean restaurant that popped in near us that does falafel, and I love falafel. And they do. I always say it wrong. They're not heroes. They're not gyros. They're like gyros. Those sandwiches, they do some of those, so we are going to be trying that out hopefully as well. I don't know, it's getting too expensive to eat out, so when we do eat out, I want to make sure that we find good new places and try food that we can't make, right? Like if you go to a restaurant and order a burger, like yeah, it's pretty good, but like you could also make a burger at home, right? So Ghost, good morning. So like if you're gonna spend the money, time, and effort and everything to eat out, you might as well eat something that you couldn't get from home, right? You order something that you don't have the capability to make yourself. Seems to make more sense to me. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. All right, we thrashed that encampment. We're doing good so far. Not bad for just being by ourselves. Everyone's landing. I could have swore I saw another UFO over here, but maybe that was just them dropping some people off. Jonathan, the Northman, good morning. How am I doing today? I am doing pretty darn well today. It's been a good start to the day. I'm just kind of waking up, to be honest. So we'll figure out actually how I'm feeling here soon. But I'm doing pretty good so far. Can't much complain about the day. Like I said, I'm very excited for this week. We get Metal Gear Solid Delta. I'm very excited to finally get to play Metal Gear Solid Delta. I've been looking forward to that game since it's been announced. So I've been like patiently waiting for Metal Gear Solid Delta for like 5 years. So I'm so excited at the end of this week to finally get to play Metal Gear Solid Delta. And I'm very excited to play Borderlands 4 because Borderlands 4 is coming out, and that is going to be awesome as well. Hopefully, I'm investing. I bought the super expensive edition of Borderlands, and I know that everyone says you shouldn't pre-order games and you shouldn't pre-order the expensive editions, but I put my money down on it. So hopefully the new Borderlands edition does not disappoint because I put the $120 down on it. So it better be worth $120 and the DLC better be worth it. So we'll see. But I'm putting my faith in it. I'm really hoping that Borderlands will be the next really good game for a while to kind of sink your teeth into and enjoy. So I put the pre-order down on that. I pre-ordered Metal Gear Solid Delta, and then I put a couple dollars in the Steam wallet to play the ODST launch of this game that's going to come out, I think, tomorrow. I also started a challenge run for Helldivers. Since we were talking about it, I wanted to see how good stealthing it could be. So I'm trying to beat a level 10 super Helldive with no weapons, no grenades, no stratagems, pure just stealthing it, running up, and completing the objective. So I did the launch the nuke objective, and I completed 3 of the main objectives to be able to launch the nuke, and I got about a quarter of the way through launching the nuke. So we failed the mission, but I made it farther than I thought I would make, not being able to fire a single weapon or use a single stratagem. I did a lot more than I thought I would actually be able to do, so I'm pretty impressed with how far I got. We're going to try again now that I know a little bit more, but what I wanted to avoid doing, like, I could have just jumped right back into it. But the problem is that, like, I just did the map, and if you run the same map, then you're already going to know what you're facing, and that seems like it would, like... I don't want to say taint it, but I think taint it is the right word, right? Like, it would be like, oh, you already knew what was going to happen, you already saw what was going to come next, so... I wanted to make sure that I left the match and that I redo it another time to ensure that I'm not just doing the same thing over and over and, like, memorizing the map, right? I want to actually be a challenge run without any gimmicks to beat it. So we're going to give that another go here soon. Having a lot of fun with that. And then, of course, I've got some videos to make. We've got a video I haven't made in a while, but I really do enjoy making. We are going to be making one of the illegal broadcast videos, which I haven't made in a while. They've never done well, which is why I don't make them very often, because nobody watches them. But with the Xbox people coming here soon, there's too many conspiracies in the game right now, so we are going to spend some time doing the conspiracy videos. I do enjoy making them. Like I said, it's just people don't watch them, so I typically don't invest the time and effort into making them since no one sees them anyways. I'm just about to clean up at work, then you're off to home and chill. That is most excellent. I'm glad your day is over. Mine is just getting started. Like I said, I just woke up like 20 minutes again, so 20 minutes ago. So my day is just getting started. I've got a full 10-hour workday ahead of me, unfortunately. Alfred, do I remember you? I'm trying to think. Nothing's popping into my head right off the bat. Did you change your name? All right, let's throw some sentries down. Get some coverage going. That's 1. That's 2. And 3. There we go. Heavy Illuminate camp cleared. On to the next. It's actually getting hard to remember everyone. Usually the stream is so quiet that I can remember everyone coming through. But lately, like the last time we were live, we had what 100 plus people watching. So it's a little bit harder to remember everyone when YouTube actually makes me pop off and people join. But I try. I've said from the beginning, and remember, the beginning is like 3 years ago now. Like, I've been doing this for a while. I've always said that I never wanted to be one of those streamers who got so big that I couldn't chat with my chat or remember people or have a good time because that's not the vibes I wanted, right? So I've never wanted to be that guy, but I'm starting to learn just how hard it can be to remember everyone and engage with everything as you actually start to grow. It's much easier when you only have one person watching. I haven't thrown down some. Let's meet up with our guys over here so we can throw down a resupply. I'm decently low on gear and stims, so hopefully we can get a resupply over here and a new mech. Speaking of mechs, we haven't gotten a Mech Warrior in a while. I know Mech Warrior 5 came out some time ago. Was it? Yeah, Mech Warrior 5. But I don't know, I just didn't vibe with it. I miss, like, Mech Warrior 2 Mercenaries was just something completely different and special. I don't know if it's just because I played it as a kid or what, but Mech Warrior 2 Mercenaries was my jam back in the day. I played that so much. I even want to. I know that like BattleTech and Mech Warrior are basically the same thing, or they merged at some point, or something like that. I don't know the exact, but I know that they're similar. I've always wanted to buy a Mad Cat or Timberwolf like minifigure, since that's my favorite one, and like paint it and do something with it. But it's one of those things where I know that if I do that, it's just gonna sit there and sit there and sit there. So I try to avoid the waste, buying the wasteful things, you know. I hope someday you get the recognition you deserve. I'd be happy you wanted the millions of followers. Thank you. Thank you for the kindness. I appreciate that. I would love to make this a full-time job, but I know that like it's like the NFL, right? Every kid for a while there dreamed of being in the NFL, of being a famous football player, making the millions of dollars. Alpres, hello. But in the reality, you know, less than like what 1%. It's not even 1%. It's like 0.1% or 0.01% of people actually make it, right? So like it's the same thing with streaming. There's so many streamers. Everyone dreams of making it, and like it doesn't take much to be in the top 1% because so many people try streaming. If you have, I think of this last time I heard the statistics of something. If you had like 10 people watching you, you were in the top 1% of streamers just because there's so many streamers streaming to nobody watching. So if 10 people puts you in the top 1%, then, you know, 20 would put you like the 0.01%, and you need hundreds, if not thousands, to actually realistically make it as a full-time job. So I don't kid myself with the numbers. I know statistically you're unlikely to ever make it. Everyone is, but someone has, right? It's one of those. Is it the gambler fallacy or the lottery fallacy, right? Somebody has to win. So why not? Why not me? Why shouldn't it be me winning the lottery, right? So like, you can't win if you can't play, and someone has to win. So, oh, there's a big dude right there. We're grabbing that and we're running. Look out behind you, dude! You're gonna get zapped. Most people don't have your amazing positivity and humor. And that is, I think there definitely is that is a factor in it. Recently, I had someone come to me and say that they were going to try streaming, which I encourage everyone, definitely give it a go. If you want to do it as a hobby, if you want to try it for fun, streaming is a ton of fun, so I definitely encourage everyone to try it for fun. But the key word there is making sure you are doing it for fun, because this person in particular, I know that does not really have a super out there personality, and people don't want to just watch someone else enjoy a video game, right? They want the commentary, they want the certain vibes. They just don't want to watch someone sit there stone faced, right? So like, it, like everything else, requires a skill that you develop over time, but it is absolutely a skill that can be developed. So even if you don't start with the skill, that's not to say you aren't able to develop said skills. So I've just always liked being in front of a camera and always liked being the try. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian for quite a while. I never actually pulled the trigger on being a stand-up comedian, but for a long time there, I thought I might try my hand at being a stand-up comedian. I'm kind of glad I didn't, just because I've seen so many stand-up comedians fall into just like the Netflix special where they just make these ranty things about how much they hate kids and how boomerish they are, and if that's where it's all going, I don't like it. I also don't like, and I know that stand-up comics do have to do this. Something I've complained about so much on TikTok is that a lot of TikTok has become just saying the same joke over and over and over and over again. And I would hate to get in that rut. And I know that stand-up comics, you have to do that, right? You're doing 50 different shows, but people are coming to see the jokes they hear you say, so you're expected to say the same jokes you've already done, and that just seems boring, right? Like I don't want to do the jokes I've already done. I want to do new jokes. I want to say new things. I want to have new stories. So, oh, come on, come on. Machine gun's not working. There we go. Just barely made that. There's another one. Like, there's one guy that keeps popping up on my social media who does like boomer shopping jokes, and it was funny the first time. I give him credit for it. It was a funny joke the first time, but he has just made like 3 videos a day for the last year. That's the same thing every time, which is, this is what boomers are like at the grocery store. Check. Check. Do you take checks? This is what boomers are like at the auto store. Checks. Checks. Do you take checks? And it's like, okay, that's the same joke. You're just putting it in an auto store instead of the grocery store. And you've just done that over and over and over and milked it to death. But again, people love it. He gets millions of views, so clearly that is what the people want. I don't know why that's what the people want, but that's what the people want. Did he already move that? Azil, welcome. Hello. No, he didn't. Okay. How's it going this morning? All right, we need some ammo. All right, there we go. Got some ammo. Got to rack up those Illuminate kill numbers for Super Earth. I keep seeing that thing. I keep seeing that someone moved it, but it doesn't look like it's moved each time. I can't tell if it's glitched or if I'm just going a little mad on this one. I also am hoping there's a local D&D store that has they have invested in those 50-inch touchscreen TVs that you see people use on social media for like battle maps that look really cool. That everyone sits around like a giant screen. It's got cup holders built in, and you can like run your D&D adventures projected onto the battle map on the touch screen, and you kind of move it around with your finger, and it looks really cool. I've been really dying to try one of those. So I think it is now finally time for me to play with one of those, since I've always wanted to try that. So I am going to set up a D&D campaign, and if I can find the 3-4 players for it in the local area, we are going to play Helldivers in Faerun. I've had this really stupid idea that I thought would be really fun for a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, where the Helldivers come to Faerun, and your job is to absolutely invade and take over Faerun. Like, oh, it's your favorite place, Baldur's Gate. We've seen Baldur's Gate before, but now it's your time to destroy Baldur's Gate and install democracy a la Helldivers into it. I always thought that would be an absolutely silly but fun game. So hopefully I can find a couple people around me to play that, and we will take over Faerun as Helldivers and get to play with those 50-inch TVs because they look like a lot of fun. It's also been a long time since I've done like Dungeons and Dragons in person, so I'm kind of excited at the prospect of getting to do that. Christine, thank you for the likes and subscribe. Welcome in. Hello. How are you doing today? Oh, that's straight up fire. Okay, we're not getting in there. So it's just been, I've done so much D&D online. I haven't played in person forever, so I'm kind of excited to try that. It's been, like I said, a long time since I've experienced the whole sitting around with friends and playing games and building worlds and all that. I don't know how much it differs, honestly, since I haven't done so long in person. Like, I don't know if it actually is different enough that it's actually gonna be like, hey, whoa, this is a completely different thing, or if it's just gonna be, oh yeah, this is just like the D&D we've been doing. So good to hear you're doing good. I'm also excited for they announced another couple pieces for the Helldivers 2 board game, which I'm very excited to play. But I'm pretty sure the board, not Borderlands, the Helldivers 2 board game isn't actually like coming out until next October, if I remember right. Like it's gonna be a while before we get to play that game. So hopefully the hype for Helldivers doesn't fade before the board game actually comes out. Because I love board games, and Emmy plays board games with me sometimes. But there's a lot of board games, like I know what she likes, I know what I like. There's a lot of board games we don't play because either you need lots more people or they require so much setup that, like, at the end of the day, after we both worked for 10 hours and I've done an extra 2 hours for streaming, like the last thing we want to do is play a board game where it's like, okay, so this board game requires that uh we do an hour and a half of setup and read a half an hour of rules, and then once we've done all that we can start to play. Like, no, I want a game that takes like 5 minutes of setup and we can just start playing it because we can only play one or two matches and then off we go, right? So there's like Metal Gear Solid. There's a Metal Gear Solid board game that looks like an absolute blast. I really want to play it, but it looks like the kind of board game that requires an hour of setup, and I just don't have the time to do that. Like, there's the Stardew Valley. We got the Stardew Valley board game off of Kickstarter back when that was first founded, and we opened it up like, wow, this looks really cool. Let's play Stardew Valley, the board game. And we realized, like, reading the rules, like, you're gonna have to have a degree in board games just to understand the rules, and then you're going to have to set this up for like an hour and a half before you play. It's just like, so it's just sat there, never been touched. Same thing with behind me, I have the Darkest Dungeon, the board game, because I loved the Darkest Dungeon, one of my favorite games of all time. So I was like, okay, well, we'll play that. Same thing. It just looks like it has so many rules and so much setup time that it'll just never actually be played. So I love short, fast board games. The next one we're going to get is Kabuto Samurai. Looks like a really fun. You play as different bugs in a sumo ring, trying to toss each other out of the sumo ring. It looks like a really interesting, fun concept. So that's going to be the next one we get. But I have my eye on the Metal Gear one. I do want to experience the Metal Gear board game at some point, I think. All right, it looks like maybe we're in some trouble here. So let's lay down some stuff, grab a mech, and unleash the hounds of war. And I'm so excited. So many, like, I don't know why it popped off, but in the last couple of years, we've seen so many good video games getting turned into board games. You've got Dark Souls, the board game. You've got Skyrim, the board game. You have Metal Gear, the board game. So I'm really excited to see all these games getting turned into board games. And of course, we have Helldivers, the board game, coming here soon. Very excited for that one. So it's really cool to see all these games getting converted into board games. Speaking of Skyrim, Gamescom, there was another game announced at Gamescom. I'm trying to remember the name of it, and I can't remember the name of it right now. But it looks like they said that it's going to be Minecraft mixed with Skyrim. And I'm kind of interested to see what they do with that, because, like, I never super got into the Minecraft craze. And a part of that was because I don't do super well personally in just like big open worlds. I need a little bit of like direction and something more to do. I like a little bit of combat in my game, which is like why Stardew Valley was perfect for me, because it's just got that little bit of combat to shake up the rest of the game. So I'm excited to see what they do with a Minecraft Skyrim. As long as there's a decent amount of combat and questing and like open worldness, I think there could be a lot of fun in that. So that sounds exciting to me. I was really hoping. I know this was a long shot. We talked about this before. I know it was an absolute long shot, but I was really hoping we were going to see Twisted Metal announced at Gamescom. Like they've made the TV show. It's on the second season. People are interested in it. So why don't we have a new Twisted Metal game coming yet? Like I feel like the time is now. The time is right for us to get a Twisted Metal game. Now that people are hyped for like the TV show and people are enjoying it, like give us another Twisted Metal. It is time. The people yearn for Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal Black 2, I think would be absolutely amazing to get. But I feel like at this point, I know like Hollow Knight 2 Silk Song is finally coming out, and people were like always saying Silk Song's coming, and they never got it. I feel like I'm that way with Twisted Metal. Like I keep asking for it and hoping for it, knowing that it just will never come. I feel like I'm kind of in that stage of denial. I love your haircut. Thank you. I would say that it's something special, but it was literally I walked into Great Clips and said chop it all off, because I get long, shaggy, horrible hair that looks like I have natural clown hair. Like it sticks up in random patches. If I was to dye it red, I would full on look like a rodeo clown. So I try and cut it short because my hair grows like a clown. So, and honestly, like I don't care what my hair looks like most of the time. So like I don't understand the appeal of getting like a $70 haircut, right? Like, give me the cheapest haircut that works. That's all that matters, is that it's cheap and function. That's all I care about in a haircut. Be cool to see Jake and Jack and Daxter. I don't know if you're talking about Jack and Daxter. I don't know if Jack and Daxter would fit in Twisted Metal, just because like Jack and Daxter is like this lighthearted happiness, and Twisted Metal is twisted. I don't know. I don't know if the devs would want to see their characters get turned into horrible monsters through the wish at the end. Because I don't know, maybe it's nostalgia, because I was talking about Twisted Metal with Emmy, and I was talking about how like messed up all the endings were, and then I went back and I googled a YouTube compilation of all the endings of Twisted Metal, and they weren't nearly like as cool or bad as I thought they were. I was just like, this is kind of cringe. Like watching the endings to Twisted Metal 2, which was my favorite Twisted Metal. Like watching Twisted Metal 2 and Twisted Metal 4 endings was just like, this is kind of ugly and cringy, and like it's not nearly as cool as I remember it to be. So maybe most of my love for Twisted Metal is just old school nostalgia. Um, maybe that's the problem. Maybe I just have too many nostalgia glasses on. And I really hope that's not the case. I know I've talked about it way too much, but I really hope that's not the case with Metal Gear Solid Delta. Metal Gear Solid 3 was one of my favorite games of all time. I did go back and play it recently and enjoyed it, but it's like the controls are abysmal in Metal Gear Solid 3, so I'm hoping that Metal Gear Solid Delta will show everyone it's still a great game. It was just trapped with some bad controls, some bad camera, and it's better now. So I really do hope that we get that with Metal Gear Solid Delta. I'm so hyped to play through Metal Gear Solid Delta. All right, we're taking out some more Illuminate, this time in a Blitz. Who would win 1939 Poland or 1939 Germany in a 1v1? I have come to find out that I really know nothing about war. So, if I'm being completely honest with myself, I don't think I actually know enough to say. If I know any of my own history well enough, I believe Germany eventually beat Poland. So I would say probably if it was just a 1v1, Poland is losing that one. But of course, that's the whole idea of a 1v1 war just doesn't really happen so much anymore, right? You have all these different countries who come in to interfere, like proxies that give support or aid or troops or munitions or things like that. So I don't think we'll ever see like a 1v1 war. Like even right now you've got Ukraine and Russia that are skirmishing and at war, but it's not just Ukraine and Russia. You have all these other superpowers getting involved, giving supplies and drones and missiles and other things like that. Speaking of drones, in January, a new drone is coming out, and I hate this. This is the overconsumer in me. I already have a drone. I have a perfectly functional drone. There's nothing wrong with my drone. But now that a new drone is coming out that I want, it's just like, okay, I don't want this drone anymore. I want to get rid of my current drone and buy the new one. But the new drone coming out is the Insta Anti-Grav. And what makes it look like it's got something interesting and different than every other drone is it has two 360-degree cameras basically stapled onto the top and bottom of it. So it shoots in 360 degree 8K the entire time. So by default, when you're just like flying around and recording, anyone who watches that recording later can move the camera around like on the YouTube video and see in a full 360 degree circle everything you're seeing. And that sounds like such a cool concept that I really, really want to get that drone because I love drone photography and I love like showing off different pretty places around the world when I go there. So that drone sounds absolutely perfect for showing y'all the places I live and the places I go with the 360 degree camera. So I really want that drone. But I can't until January, so it's still a little ways away. So I'm gonna have to sell my current drone. That's my new rule. I heard this for, I don't remember. Emmy told me, I don't remember where he got it. It's probably off of TikTok, to be honest. Was this rule that if you're going to buy something, you have to get rid of something, and by always doing a 1-to-1, okay, I'm buying something, so I'm getting rid of something. It helps keep your house from getting too cluttered, and that is now one of my core philosophies. If I'm gonna buy something, I need to get rid of something because I am so absolutely sick of all the clutter around my house. So I need to get rid of my current drone if I'm gonna buy a new drone. Ooh, I forgot the spear does not do very well against the Illuminate, does it? Holy cow. I messed up by bringing the spear. That was a bad choice, I guess, for the blitz, but we'll make this work regardless. But wow, that was a really dumb choice. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of the drone, get the new Insta drone when it comes out. I also really want to get this little rock crawling car. It's a little RC car that's designed for like crawling up rocks and crawling through rivers and things like that. Like it's a scale model car that's designed to do little adventures. It sounds like a lot of fun to go out to different places and just see like where you can get to crawl and do things like that. And it sounds like silly fun. And I definitely need more hobbies that are not related around screens. Considering I just started editing for someone else's videos. So like I edit for 3 different video places and I make my own videos and then I content create and I'm a gamer. So I have too many hobbies that involve screens, so it never hurts to pick up a hobby that's not going to require a screen shoved in my face, right? I want to pick up painting too. I really want to paint little models. I really do super enjoy painting miniatures. The problem is that I am a perfectionist, and when I go to start learning how to paint miniatures, I go like onto Reddit and see all the other people that are painting miniatures and see how much better their painting is than I probably will ever be. And you get that discouraged. Like, what's the point? What's the point of even starting? Because these guys already are so much better than I am. I will never be as good as them. So what's the point even starting? And I know that's such a defeatist and terrible mentality to have, But that is kind of where I am at every time we go to start. It's just like, well, I'll never be that good, so why bother? All right, let's reposition. We're kind of in a bad position here. There we go. Turret can back us up. And if we get into a high enough spot here, we can just use the spear and snipe out a few of these things. So let's resupply. Come on, turret, do your work. Take out this horde behind us. I'd also like to learn to play an instrument. I started learning piano and learned I'm bad at piano. Don't think like that. You never know. I know it's a defeatist and bad mentality to have. I definitely know I need to get out of that mindset. And I would love to learn like the piano. I'd love to learn the piano or the violin or the flute. Those are all instruments I've always wanted to play and have never taken the time to learn to play. But I would definitely love to learn an instrument. I do want to be a good piano player, but it's the same thing. Like I go, okay, I'm going to Google how to play the piano, and I watch someone else play the piano. Like, wow, I'll never be that good. So what's the point in starting? I also learned I have a. If you've watched Futurama, Fry talks about being diagnosed with stupid hands, and that's what I feel like I have. Is I feel like I've been diagnosed with stupid hands. Like my right hand, perfect. I can play it, but getting my left hand to play at the same time as my right hand is such like a hard thing to do. And I get that every piano player ever has started there, right? Every piano player starts with their dominant hand. They say, hey, this isn't too bad. And then you put in the actual, like, both hands playing at once, and all of a sudden it feels like this insurmountable task. Like, how do you get both your hands to cooperate at the same time is so hard. But I'm going to find another hobby. I'm going to find a hobby to sit down and learn and play, do something. I love the violin, love the flute, something without screens. I have been as a fun, yeah, it's the whole the journey of 1,000 miles starts at the first step, right? Everyone starts as a beginner. People love to throw the advice from Adventure Time, where Jake says, sucking at something is the first step to being really good at something. Like, definitely understand I'm thinking about it the wrong way. I definitely understand I'm approaching it in the wrong way. I understand that is 100% on me. One thing I have been doing to kill some time that's not screen related is I have been making a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I would say I'm about 20% done with it. It is based on Five Nights at Freddy's, and I've created the animatronics for you to fight, and that's been a lot of fun to create the encounters for a Five Nights at Freddy's style campaign. So all the animatronics have personality, and all the animatronics have different triggers. So the way I'm designing it, like in Five Nights at Freddy's, all the different like suits have different reasons why they move. Like, I didn't play the game a whole lot, but I played enough to get the gist of it. Like, if you're looking at a certain camera, one guy will move, or if you don't check in this area enough, then that guy will move, right? So there's different triggers that cause different ones to run about, and that's what I'm trying to create with these animatronics, is that there are certain triggers that if your characters say or do certain things, it'll attract one guy, but if you say or do something else, it'll attract a different guy. And that's been a lot of fun to have all this interaction. So there's 6 animatronics currently, and I think I'm going to keep it at 6 that you have to fight. There's the Ball Pit Beast, there's the Showcase Skunk, there's the Arcade Alpaca, the Kitchen Kangaroo, the Library Lemur, and Medic Moose. And the goal will be you need to go around the location and collect things without setting off the animatronics, because the animatronics, once you defeat them in battle, like, they're not super hard to beat in battle, but the problem is they will revive after a certain amount of time. And then so it's a game of attrition where, okay, we beat the animatronics, well, now they're going to resurrect and I have to fight them again. And so it's supposed to be like this slow building horror that we're running out of resources. We need to figure out how to beat this game quickly, because if we get into 3 more fights, we're going to start losing these fights. So they're supposed to be easy the first time, and the second time, and the third time, but come the fourth, fifth, sixth battle, you're going to start to have this fatigue where it's like we can't take these guys on anymore, so we need to figure out how to get out of here because we're running out of resources. Because I love, we've talked about it before, like I love horror movies. I'm a big fan of the horror genre. My wife got me super into horror, and like we recently saw Weapons, and I thought Weapons was like one of the best horror movies I've seen. I absolutely loved Weapons because they didn't rely on jump scares. It was like this psychological building of like what's going on, what's happening, trying to figure it out. I love that kind of horror where it's a slow building, trying to understand the world around you and not just like, oh look, there's a monster. Oh look, he's gory slapping people around, or oh look, the monster's teleporting around and jump scaring you. Like that kind of horror doesn't do it for me, but the slow building psychological horror is definitely for me. So we're gonna go for more like a Call of Cthulhu, Five Nights at Freddy's. And like I said, I built the animatronics, so the encounters are built. Now I need to build the actual like place you're exploring and the story around it. I don't know if I want to do like, if I want to lean fully into the Five Nights at Freddy's and have there be like, the children's spirits that are around where you have to free the children, or if I want to do something a little bit more unique than that. I haven't figured that part out yet. So that's where I'm stuck in creating, is figuring out what do I want the actual story to be. Do I want to be freeing souls? Do I want to be to stop the mad artificer who's creating these suits? Do I just want it to be like a haunted house? Like the goal is just to escape alive. That's the part I still need to figure out. To really finish it up, is draw the map and figure out the story. But I got the characters, so yeah, if you've ever done writing, you know that sometimes creating the characters is like the hardest part, and then everything else starts to flow once you've created the characters and the story and all that. Also, map making. Map making is really hard. If you've never sat down and made a map for like D&D, it's so daunting to stare at a blank page and be like, I need to turn this blank piece of paper into a fully like living and breathing world, and that's a lot. So 1v1, bro. 1v1 what? Helldivers 1v1? I've heard people do that. I've never actually done that, but I've heard people do that. They do like 1v1 PvP on like level 1 maps, really small maps, and they fight each other. I've heard of that, but I've never done that. Also, you're a family vlogger. How is that? I've always considered a family vlog. I've talked to Emmy about that a few times, doing like a family vlog, but like so many family vlogs seem to turn into like drama and child abuse that like we've never actually seriously done it, but it's been on our mind. Oh, that guy's shield popped up right at the last second. Bummer. Hi, Jared. Dude, who jumped on the shuttle already? Oh, no one. Okay, so it's because it's a blitz. That's why. Okay, I was gonna say we're not ready, but here we go. I would also love. I would absolutely love someday to do like a Dungeons and Dragons like campaign, like a D&D podcast, but like there are so many D&D podcasts, and when I wanted to do one, I started listening to other people doing D&D podcasts. And like streaming, like it takes so much to have a good D&D podcast that people actually want to listen to, that I don't think I could actually do it. Like I tried it once with a My Hero Academia inspired game that I was playing, and we got maybe like 3 listeners, and the whole thing fell apart. So like, I know everyone wants to be Critical Role. I just, they're highly paid voice actors, right? They are professionals. They do that for a living. And like Legend of Adventurous, like they have such great chemistry that I just don't know that I could actually make a successful D&D campaign. Also, The problem with streaming a D&D campaign, when I tried it a few times, is I really wanted to, like, I want to interact with chat, but if you're taking a break from D&D to interact with chat, it's like disrupting the flow of the game, right? So, like, you have to choose, we're not going to interact with chat, which is boring. You know, chat is there because they want to interact with you. They want to talk with you, right? You know, I don't want to just ignore them for 2 hours. You either have to ignore chat or you have to interact with chat, but then the game starts to lose steam because you're constantly ignoring the game to play with chat. So someday I'll figure out how to do it. Maybe I will live stream the play tests of my Five Nights at Charlie's campaign. Maybe that's like a good compromise. That's why instead of looking at the entire blank sheet of paper, focus on doing it bit by bit instead of saying that you got to fill everything. Start by filling in something small and expanding. It is a grid map, so it is easy to say, okay, we're going to start with just one square, one 5 by 5 square foot. And then, so I just got to build, like you said, instead of the entire thing, I need to build it section by section, right? You have the entrance, we have the showcase, we have the arcade, we have the ball pit. If I build each one of those places one by one, it might be easier to swallow than building the whole building all at once. Let's see. We want that. We want... let's grab some gas mines, incinerary mines, and heavy mounted thing. And instead of that, let's grab a wasp. There we go. This should be good. What's going on, Jared? What's on your mind? I do want to do something D&D though. Like a lot of my content on YouTube is I do D&D memes every day and people love that. So I'd love to do a D&D show. Like I said, I just got to figure out the thing I really need to do next time is finding the right people for the show, right? Like when you don't have real life friends who want to do it, you need to rely on finding random internet people, and everyone wants to be on a D&D show, but not everyone belongs on a D&D show, right? So it's like it's being very picky about the people you're going to make it with. And then someone inevitably will always say, well, what about the money? What happens when it starts making money? Like, where's my cut of the money? And like, I don't deny that they deserve to be paid if they're going to be doing like good voice acting, but also goes back to like, well, if I'm the one who created it and I created the campaign and I created the game and I have all the equipment, everything, like you're just a guest at this point. Like, people always want to bring up the money, but the DM is instrumental to all of it. So if you're not the DM, then why are you expecting to get paid when the DM should get paid first if they're doing all the work and creating everything in it? Like if you're bringing the gear, okay, now we're talking about gear investment, but like if you're just playing in the game, that's simply, you're just playing. You're not actually like making and creating and doing all the other things that the DM is. So money ruins everything. We've talked about that at length, right? Money ruins everything, and it's no different with trying to make a D&D podcast. Inevitably, someone will say, well, what about the money? It's like, okay, well, it'll be like 3 years before we even see a penny if we make it that far. So let's not even worry about the money right now, because I doubt we'll make it that far. But inevitably, someone will want to talk about it. So, oh, don't step on the mines. We'll close that. Drop down some resupplies. Close that. All right, we are ready. Forza, hello, welcome. I'm guessing you're a fan of Forza. Just an inkling of a thought, just a wild guess. That is one genre of game I am absolutely terrible at, for certain. We've talked about Dark Souls and how bad I am at Dark Souls, but racing games is a whole other genre of games that I am absolutely terrible at. I'm pretty sure that Forza isn't just a racing. I'm pretty sure Forza is like the actual, that's the actual event too. So like the real life racing is also called Forza. Ever since the last live, I've been wondering about another game opinion. What's your thought on Mass Effect games? I personally love them. It's been a while since I've played Mass Effect. I remember absolutely loving Mass Effect 1 and 2. But like most people, I remember being super disappointed by the ending of 3. And I know a lot of people felt like the whole game was ruined. You know, it's like, Bubbles here, good morning. The whole game is like, what's the point of playing because the ending is so bad? I don't think the ending is that bad that it ruins the whole game. I definitely feel like it's worth experiencing the Mass Effect trilogy, especially now that you can get like the whole Mass Effect trilogy all mastered on one. So I definitely think that the Mass Effect games are worth playing. I remember enjoying them, but I had to get some footage of Mass Effect for a video that I was making not long ago, and I remember playing Mass Effect 1 for it, and the controls were a little worse than I remember. Like, Mass Effect 1 definitely shows its age, and that, oh, this is without a doubt an older game, right? So, like, everyone should play Mass Effect, no doubt, but also know if you're going into Mass Effect 1 and you've never played it before, it is, I think technically some people would count it as like a retro game now, right? So it's got a little bit older controls, it's got some flaws, you know, it's an older game now, but it holds up. It's weird to think though that Mass Effect would be considered a retro game because Mass Effect came out when I was in high school. So it's weird to think that some people would consider it a retro game, but what's your favorite species from Mass Effect? I don't know their name, but I remember there being a whole lot. I think it was Talia, the people who have to wear like the special masks because like the genophage. Like I really like the lore and the decisions that have to be made around that whole like storyline. So like I really remember getting into Talia's story and the whole thing about like, do we hear the genophage? Do we allow it to continue? Those sort of like those ethical and morality questions. I really enjoyed that. I thought they did it really well in the game. So I really remember being into Talia's story when I played through it and being on Talia's side and experiencing that whole thing. So I'd probably say they are my favorite because I just remember that part of the story so well. And then here you're gonna say no, that wasn't Talia. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I don't remember anything perfectly. The Quarians are the ones that needed the suits, but it's the Krogans who got infected with the genophage. I love the Krogans. The Krogans are like the big broody dudes, right? That's I can't remember his name, but I know that he's like a fan favorite who a lot of people love. Maybe it's time for a Mass Effect playthrough again. Now that you're talking about, maybe we should play Mass Effect. The one downside is I'm gonna say I'll add it to the list because now I want to play Mass Effect. But like I said, we got Metal Gear Solid Delta coming out later this week, and then we've got Borderlands 4 coming out, and then we have a Beyblade rogue-like game coming out here soon. So we've got too many games to play coming here soon. So maybe we'll do a Mass Effect run, but it's gonna be a little while before we get into the Mass Effect run because I've got to play Metal Gear Solid Delta and I've got to play Borderlands for certain. And then on top of that, we're going to have World of Warcraft Midnight is coming here soon, and I'm getting super into that. I've been enjoying World of Warcraft lately. So we'll need to play World of Warcraft Midnight when it comes out. And I don't know, you know how the algorithm works, how it sends you like random things? So the algorithm lately has been telling me that I need to play Guild Wars 2. Apparently the YouTube algorithm says, hey, you'll probably enjoy Guild Wars. So apparently I need to play Guild Wars 2 because I've never really played that, but I'm just getting a ton of Guild Wars 2 videos. So we've got too many games and not enough time. But Mass Effect does sound fun. You know what the one thing I never experienced with the Mass Effect is I was one of those kids who I would play a game and then I would go and sell it back to GameStop and buy a different game with it. So I did that a whole lot, which meant that when I played Mass Effect, because I bought new games, I would delete them off the hard drive and all that, I never got to experience a continuation of Mass Effect. Like I never got to play Mass Effect 1 all the way through and then play Mass Effect 2 with the same character. So maybe I should do that if I'm going to do it. Maybe I should try and play Mass Effect all the way through with one character rather than restarting a new character each time. That could be a really fun way to experience the game because I've never gotten to experience that. You know what other game I'm really hoping we get some news on? I know that there's supposed to be another Fable coming. And if you've never experienced Fable, you can buy the Fable 1 remaster. And Fable 1, again, now it's considered a retro game, so it's got some old style controls, it's got some old style flaws. The first Fable game really is such a unique and fun game with some really cool concepts and some really fun gameplay and some really fun story stuff. Like, truly, I think everyone should experience that game at least once. Oh, that was the wrong weapon. Wrong weapon equipped. Everyone should experience Fable 1. Speaking of retro games to experience, so there's one retro game I can think of off the top of my head that people don't need to experience, and this is the biggest bummer. So you're talking about Mass Effect. So when Mass Effect came out, there was another game coming out at the same time as Mass Effect 1, and you had to make a choice. Do you buy Mass Effect 1 or do you buy this other game? I decided to buy the other game instead of Mass Effect. That other game was Too Human. And if you played Too Human, you would know instantly the regret I have from making that decision. But I was one of the people who said, you know what? I'm going to get Too Human because that looks so cool instead of Mass Effect. And that was one of those huge gamer fails because Mass Effect was clearly the better game in every way, shape, or form than Too Human. If you don't know what Too Human is, Too Human was supposed to be like Norse mythology, but set in the future where you play as like a future Valkyrie, and when you couldn't die because the Valkyries would come pull you off the battlefield and bring you back. It was like a Diablo-style ARPG. It had all this cool stuff on it, and it went horribly. In fact, the game did so poorly. Legally, you cannot purchase the game anymore because they had to found out that there was a bunch of copyright issues and stolen things in the game. So I'm pretty sure that Xbox gives it away for free, like to preserve the game. But like you can't even buy the game anymore because it got sued into oblivion, and it was such a bad game. And I always regret getting Too Human instead of Mass Effect. But on the bright side, I at least have a fun story out of it, right? So we have a fun story at the very least. But yes, if I could go back in time, I would definitely choose to get Mass Effect instead of Too Human. There's not many games that I have purchased that like I truly regret. Too Human was definitely one of those games that I just truly regret getting because it was so bad and such a waste of money. Trying to think of any of the other games that like I just truly hated so much that I never played in. Even like when you were a kid, like getting games was a rarer experience, right? You couldn't just go to the shop and buy a game whenever you wanted. You had to wait for your parents to buy you a game. So even if you bought a bad game, well, you couldn't not play it because then your parents were like, well, you didn't even play the last game that I bought you. Why would I buy you another game? So you ended up having to play every single game, right? So I played a lot of bad games, but I learned to appreciate a lot of bad games. Another game that I wish I always got, but I never bought, was a stupid GameCube game that looked so fun. And like now that I have adult money, there's a temptation for me to go buy this game because I've always wanted to play it. It was on the GameCube. It was called Billy Hatcher. And I know nothing about the game other than you played as like a chicken boy, and your job was to run around and find like chicken eggs and hatch them. I don't know. It looked fun. I don't know if it was actually like a fun or good game, but I always wanted to play Billy Hatcher. So maybe I need to go find a GameCube so that I can finally live out my childhood dream of getting to play Billy Hatcher. When you say Oblivion, I just think of the Elder Scrolls with the Fantastic Arena fan by Azura. Oblivion was good. I'm glad it got a remaster. I am still on team Morrowind is the best Elder Scrolls game ever. I will stand by my janky, weird, horrible mess of a game that is Morrowind. And maybe it's because Morrowind was my first Elder Scrolls. It's kind of like Final Fantasy, right? Whatever your first Final Fantasy game is the game you will probably love the most when it comes to Final Fantasy. That's why so many people love Final Fantasy VII is Final Fantasy VII was their first Final Fantasy. I think it's probably the same thing for the Elder Scrolls. Like, if you came into the Elder Scrolls on Oblivion, then you're probably going to like Oblivion. If you came in on Skyrim, you're probably going to like Skyrim. I came in on the Elder Scrolls Morrowind, and I've always loved Morrowind. Skyrim was the only one I ever played, so for that reason, it's best. That's exactly what I'm saying. Whatever one you started with is most likely going to be your absolute favorite of a Elder Scrolls. Personally, like, Skyrim was okay for me. I got Skyrim at midnight. In fact, Skyrim was probably the last game that I went to a midnight launch for. Like, I was super on board with it, and I played it, and I enjoyed it. Like, I'm not saying it was a bad game by any means, but also, like, I didn't play it for 100,000 hours like some people. Like, I played it, I was like, yeah, this is good enough. Like, it's a good enough game, but I never got super into it. So, like, I don't think Skyrim was the greatest game ever, but I definitely know there's a lot of people who feel like Skyrim was one of the best games ever made. So, I feel that way about Morrowind. Like, I will go back and play Morrowind any day of the week. I'll just go back and start playing it. Though I will say I tried doing a Morrowind run where you did no fast travel, and that got grating fast. Morrowind is definitely very huge and intended to use fast travel, but I want to try out. I read this interesting article where someone said that fast travel ruins video games, and the thesis of this article was the idea that once you start fast traveling in a video game, that game is now ruined for you because now you're going to fast travel everywhere. And what will happen is you'll get in this habit of, okay, I need to go do this quest, so I'll fast travel, complete the quest. I'll fast travel back. I'll complete the quest. I'll fast travel to that. You get this thing where the world becomes so small and unfun because you're just fast traveling to point A to point B, point A to point B to do the quests, and you're not actually like experiencing the world. And that makes sense because like a big draw of Morrowind is you get to you're going to a quest, and while you're trying to find that quest, you come across a cave. So you explore the cave, and you're exploring the world, right? So I understand the thesis of the paper. So I tried Morrowind, the intended way of no fast traveling, and man, that world is huge and open. So maybe not the best venture into it, but I think the guy makes a great point. In World of Warcraft is a great example of that. Compared to Avowed, it's the best game. Avowed was not very good. World of Warcraft is huge, right? There's hundreds of zones. There's so much content. There's so much to do. World of Warcraft is absolutely massive. But the world feels so small because you get a quest, you instantly teleport to the quest, you teleport back, you turn in the quest, and once you start fast traveling and flying all around, like the world shrinks and you just feels like, okay, I've got a 6-part quest, but it's just teleport here, teleport back, teleport there, teleport back, teleport here, teleport back. So I definitely think that thesis was correct, that it does start to ruin games when you start just fast traveling everywhere. Skyrim is a game where you can lose track of time when adventuring and exploring, especially with mods. Next time I play Skyrim, I always say this, I want to play Skyrim in VR because I have the VR setup, and I feel like playing through Skyrim in VR would be like experiencing the game for the very first time because playing a game in VR is just so different. So I want to play Fallout 4 and Skyrim in VR and experience them in VR. So that is my next endeavor, is to play the games in virtual reality. I think it'll be better in VR. I'm doing that with No Man's Sky right now. No Man's Sky in VR is truly next level, like a whole different level of peak. It is so good. All right, we got time for one more match, and then I gotta go do chores. So let's go. Let's make it a good one. We have saved the city. We've gotten some kills. We have liberated the planet. Let's move somewhere else. Let's go over here. Let's take down the overship. I picked up Pixar Car 3 Drive to Win racing game for $3 last week. Kid's gonna lose his mind when I introduced him to this winter. You remember you bringing that up? So you haven't showed it to him. You're gonna make him wait until the winter to start playing. Sasha, tomorrow the Xbox Divers start. I am very excited for tomorrow. I'm very excited for the Xbox Divers to get to come and experience the game. I'm so excited to see all the new people get absolutely thrown to the wolves and get to experience the game for the first time. So tomorrow is going to be a great day in Helldivers history. I'm very, very hyped for the new Helldivers to get to come and see Helldivers. No Man's Sky is such an amazing game. They got like the best redemption story from being a massive flop. Okay, fun fact about No Man's Sky. There are two original videos on my channel. My first ever video on this channel is No Man's Sky. It was a review of No Man's Sky when No Man's Sky came out. And my first ever video really set the tone for my channel because my first ever YouTube video was me saying, "You are all wrong. No Man's Sky is a great game, and if you give it time, it will become something special because there's so many good ingredients here. Give it some time to cook. I guarantee No Man's Sky will be an awesome game." And I was one of the only people out there who enjoyed No Man's Sky, was giving it a positive review and saying this is going to be something special. And 7 years later, I am redeemed. I am redeemed. I was correct. So that is some fun Waffles lore. My first ever YouTube video was that. My second ever YouTube video was me playing Rainbow Six Siege with some terrible cringy editing saying, "This is why they call me Clutch," and me 1v5ing, which again, it was an impressive play. Don't get me wrong. Like, I did really good in that match, but it really probably didn't need a whole cringy compilation video to go with it. But yes, tomorrow's going to be excellent. I've got money in my Steam wallet already to buy the ODST Warbond the second it comes out, and I will be diving with the noob divers tomorrow to help them through the trauma of their first ever hell dive. But I'm so excited, like, to log. My favorite thing is gonna be logging into like Reddit and seeing all the posts from the new hell divers who are like, "WTF is that? What is going on? Why am I dying so much? What is happening?" And just like that complete loss. And that's why I've been recommending to everyone. There's a lot of people come in and say, "Oh, give me tips. What should I do when I'm a first hell diver?" And my tip is always put down the tips. Don't look the game up. Don't learn anything about it. Go into it absolutely blind and just enjoy the chaos. Because you only get it once. You only get the absolute chaos once. Forgot Helldivers is releasing on Xbox tomorrow. I'm going to barely be able to sleep. Oh, you guys are in for such a treat. I truly think Helldivers, when it came out, it was a totally different game. I'm sad you guys don't get to experience when Helldivers first came out. It was a totally different game. Like, weapons and stratagems were so much weaker. Like, you felt like you were completely overwhelmed and overpowered at all times. So I'm sad you'll never get to experience that version of Helldivers, but I'm glad you get to experience some version of Helldivers. I don't know what blew me up there. I'm not so sure about what blew me up.
But I do hope they add like a retro mode one day, like Diablo 4, or was it Diablo 3? Diablo 4 did like the Tristram event where you could go back to Diablo 1 and just kind of experience a snippet of Diablo 1. I hope someday they give us a snippet of Helldivers 2 history where you can play Helldivers 2 with the original weak weapons and just feel like how massively underpowered you felt, that like monsters took 3, 4, 5 hits to blow up, that there would be like 15 Bile Titans spawning at once, and it would just be this overwhelming, we're all gonna die, we have nothing to do with this sort of event. So I hope someone gets to experience that at some point, because I truly loved it, but I really understand why so many people hated it and did not want to play Helldivers in that state. Like, it definitely required a very... In what way was it different? So the main difference was like our stratagems back in the day, our stratagems were so weak. So like a basic charger unit could take like 3 missiles to take down. So like a basic unit could spawn and that would be game changing. Bile Titans could take like 5 rockets sometimes if you weren't hitting them consistently. Now when a Bile Titan spawns, you can kill it in one shot. So like, oh no, a Bile Titan, okay, I call down my eat and destroy it. But back in the day, most of the game wasn't even fighting the enemies because you didn't have the tools to fight the enemies. They were too strong. So it was a lot more about hit and run tactics. Like, you would have to work all together to take down a basic enemy, and then you would run away from the fight because you couldn't deal with the enemies. Now you have enough firepower that you can deal with the enemies so you don't have to run away. But it used to be like the legitimate tactic was, okay, someone throw down a little bit of fire and then run away because we can't kill these enemies. We simply don't have the tools to destroy this many enemies. So it was hit and run, hit and run. You were constantly running, constantly moving because you didn't have a way to destroy enemies at all. But I found that a lot of fun. I thought that was a really fun, unique gameplay loop, but most people didn't find it fun, so they changed it. So now you're a one-man army with some super firepower. Like, you're still squishy. You can still absolutely get destroyed, but when a Bile Titan spawns, you can actually do something about it. Maybe they should add a new enemy that's stronger. They do keep adding new enemies. There is one new enemy that we're hopefully going to get that's been teased for a while, but they've talked about adding boss fights for a long time, like one enemy that takes 10 or 15 minutes to whittle down, that like truly it is a monster of an enemy. So I'm hoping we'll get those boss fight enemies here soon that'll give us that experience of, oh, we are nowhere near as strong as we think we are because this boss guy is way too much. So I think those are called Hive Lords. So that is, we are hoping for Hive Lords to be added soon, but it's been teased for a while. I've also always thought that so some of the bugs have like this sticky goo web stuff. I always thought an absolutely terrifying monster they should add to the game would be based off like a ambush spider or a funnel web spider. Have a Terminid that hides underground, and when a Helldiver is alone and by itself, it pops out and it will like sting you and paralyze you and drag you back to the nest, and other Helldivers would have to come and like cut you down and stim you to unparalyze you. I always thought that would be an absolute blast, but like realistically, I don't think that would actually be fun, because you start thinking about, okay, so one player is stuck there paralyzed and can't do anything for however long it takes his teammates to come and rescue him. Like that wouldn't actually be fun to play. So you'd have to have like a time limit on like where you bleed out after like 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or else it just wouldn't be fun. So like from a video game perspective, I don't think that would actually be fun. But the idea of like a trapdoor ambush spider bug popping out at you and paralyzing you sounds so absolutely terrifying that I hope we do get that someday. I want a trapdoor spider inspired bug to pop out and paralyze me. I think that would be absolutely terrifying. But they've been slowly and steadily adding new units. Like the last thing they added that was really cool was like the Fire Brigade, where they gave all the robot units flamethrowers. That was really cool. Then they did like the Predator strain where the units got like super fast. So they are adding new units and they are always adding to the story. So we'll definitely get more new stuff. But I also understand, it takes time to add new stuff, right? So it's a slow and steady thing. All right, where are we doing? Bubble. Yeah, I know a lot of people are terrified of spiders, which is also why I think a spider unit would be absolutely brilliant for them to add, right? It would definitely add to the horror of the game if you have to fight a spider, since people really, really don't like spiders. Ooh, bullseye. Did you see that? You see that throw? That was pretty darn good. I can only watch people play Grounded in olive mode. I like that they're adding arachnophobia options for people. I definitely think that is something. I'm always for more accessibility in gaming, right? Like, I'm one of the people that says we do need an easy mode in Dark Souls. We do need more accessibility options. So arachnophobia mode, great thing. I wish more games would add it. What if they add missions where you go down to like some cave system? I would love some cave. I know that there's been talk of cave missions. I don't know if they're actually going to add them, but I do know it's at least been discussed, because like you can blow up the ground. You can terraform the earth a little bit. So I do think there was at some point some talk of cave systems. There was also in the game files, people found a flare for specifically like when you would dive into really dark environments. There was supposed to be like a whole system for a flare system for when it was too dark to be able to see. So I know those things existed, but I don't know if they're like on the back burner, if it's something that we'll eventually get, or if they change their mind and decide, no, we really don't need extra dark underground maps. So I don't know if we're ever going to get that, but there's been talk of it at the very least. So I think they're worried if they add flares, it'll be too much. Like, if they add flares and underground, then I feel like they're afraid it'll be too close to Deep Rock Galactic, right? Because if you're underground and you're fighting hordes of enemies while doing objectives and you have to throw flares to be able to see, what's the difference between this and Deep Rock Galactic, right? So I think they're trying to not cross that line, right? They don't want people to draw the comparison that, oh, this is just Deep Rock Galactic with humans instead of dwarves. So I think that's probably why we haven't gotten that. If I had to guess, maybe I'm totally wrong, but I kind of feel like that's a factor. Grounded is a lot of fun, even if I'm not afraid of spiders at all in real life. The ones that can get you really jump scare you. I want to play Grounded. That's a game I missed out on. I think I'm gonna have to add that to the list. Like my ever-growing list of games that someday I'll get to. Grounded was on the list of fun games. And they just launched Grounded 2 in early access, didn't they? So maybe I should just play Grounded 2. I need to get a different controller. I'm so mad. I bought this controller and immediately got stick drift. So bad. And like the run button doesn't always work. I really need to get a different controller. I'm so tired of buying controllers. I have so many controllers. I'm so tired of buying controllers. Grounded 2 is out. We'll add it to the list. But this week is Helldivers with Halo and Metal Gear Solid Delta. After that, it's a little bit more open until Borderlands 4. But here's hoping. I'm hoping I enjoy Borderlands 4 enough that I will be a Borderlands 4 streamer, but we'll see. It's really outdated, but I want an Eight-Legged Freaks game. I remember watching part of that movie, but Emmy really doesn't like spiders, so we never made it very far into the movie, but spiders are terrifying, so I get it. I definitely understand spiders are terrifying. But I think an Eight-Legged Freaks game could be good. You know what they could do with that, I think? They could make it like... you know what game died too fast that I think could be good is Evolved. Evolved was this game where one person played as a monster and then four people played as a guy hunting down the monster. And as the monster lived for longer, it would get to evolve and become stronger. So you had to take it down fast, and if you didn't take it down fast enough, it would get stronger and stronger. If they brought Evolved back but made it like Eight-Legged Freak with a spider, I think that could be really good. Evolved was really good. I know that people said they killed it with like the monetization problems and they didn't have the player base, and like that's the big problem. If you release a game that costs money, that requires a player base, like unless you spent a ton of money in marketing, your game is probably going to die so fast, because unless it becomes a meme status or like a absolute must play of the year, you're just not going to have a sustainable player base. And then when new players do want to go check it out, they're going to say, oh, well, isn't that game dead? Like, why would I pay to play that game when no one's playing it anymore? And that's ultimately the problem with like all these pay to play games, is they require other people to play them, and there's just not enough people to sustain it. And that was a concern with Helldivers 2, right? Like Helldivers 2, they didn't know this game was going to be nearly as successful as it was. The first Helldivers only ever peaked at like, what, 10, 15,000 players? So like this game would be much harder to sustain with like the big Warfront that they're doing with only 15,000 players. Like, thank goodness we have hundreds of thousands of players, but if your game relies on other people and you don't have the player base to match it, it's not going to last very long. There's another game coming out here soon called Fellowship, which is like playing World of Warcraft Dungeons. But again, it requires other players, so if they don't get the player base to start with, like, unfortunately, the game's just not going to last, right? Because if no one picks it up, then it's just going to die, flop. I never got a chance to play Evolved, but I really wanted to try it. Evolved was so fun. It really was. I wish that there was a more dedicated group to play it, because Evolved truly was a really, really fun game that got the short end of the stick. But no game, if we're talking about games that got the short end of the stick, no game got a shorter end of the stick than Battleborn. If you don't know what Battleborn is, Battleborn was supposed to be a Overwatch competitor that launched at the same time as Overwatch, and it just pretty much instantly died because they could not compete with Overwatch's hype. But it was good. It was made by Gearbox. It was made by the guys who made Borderlands, so like it was fun. It had potential, but because everyone was out playing Overwatch, it never stood a chance. And it always makes me sad that we're never going to see Battleborn 2, because it got abandoned. It was told that it was terrible, and I really feel like, especially since the state of Overwatch 2 right now, I feel like Battleborn could stand a chance now, but it's just too little, too late. But I would love to see Battleborn make a comeback. Reload faster. Three, two, one, boom! Direct hit. We were talking about last stream. There's a lot of games that I want to come back. Battleborn, I want to come back. I want a new Def Jam Fight for New York. I would absolutely love to see Def Jam Fight for New York come back. Twisted Metal is a game series I want to see come back. I would love to see, I know this is going to be a controversial one, I would love to see Animal Crossing come back in the form of the original Animal Crossing. I want to see the angry, bitter animals. I want to see the emotions. I want to see the hateful guys. I want to see Mr. Rossetti back. I want the old Animal Crossing back. I know we got New Leaf. There's a lot of rumors. If you haven't been following, there's a lot of rumors that we're going to get a new Animal Crossing game next year. There's a lot of Nintendo rumors that seems like we are going to get a Animal Crossing game next year. So fingers crossed that they make another mainline Animal Crossing and we don't get like Happy Homes or Animal Pocket Camp, but we get an actual Animal Crossing game because I want it. New system, new Animal Crossing. Exactly. Exactly. What is going on over here? What is going on? What are these guys doing? I would like to see original Doom, not the new Doom. I didn't like the new Doom. I would like to see Doom 1993 make a comeback, an old school Doom boomer shooter. I would love to see. It's really weird they launched it with one title and no Zelda. Well, the answer's simple for that, Bubble. It's because The Legend of Zelda is awful. They finally learned their lesson. Wait. Here we go. The Legend of Zelda is terrible. It's got good music, but the gameplay is awful. So maybe they finally realized that. I mean, I haven't played the new Donkey Kong yet, but isn't the new Donkey Kong essentially just Legend of Zelda, but with Donkey Kong instead of Zelda and Link? Like, you've got puzzles to solve. I'm pretty sure that's why we didn't get a Legend of Zelda, because the new Donkey Kong is essentially the Legend of Zelda. We're putting on the warning glasses. Warning, terrible opinions ahead. But like, Ocarina of Time, everyone says Ocarina of Time is one of the best games ever made. Ocarina of Time is one of the most overrated games of all time. Like, you've got basic puzzles, terrible controls, good music. I'll give it that. It's got good music. But people way overhype Ocarina of Time. Like, Zelda puzzles make me so mad because the Zelda puzzle that you call a puzzle, but like, you walk into a room and there's a wall that looks like you could put a bomb there. Solve the puzzle. And it's like, maybe if I put a bomb against the wall that says put a bomb here, I'll solve the puzzle. And then you put a bomb there and then you get the do-do-do-do, you solved the puzzle. Like, this is not a puzzle. Though I will say, to its credit, I do always appreciate that you can solve the puzzles multiple ways, because I remember being a kid when Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time came out, and I was in the Great Deku Tree. And when I was playing the original Ocarina of Time as a like 7-year-old, in the Great Deku Tree, you have that first puzzle where you've got to figure out how do you get to the lower level. And the correct way to solve the puzzle is to climb to the very top of the tree, and then you jump off the ledge, and then you'll fall through like the spider web thing, right? But I didn't think of that, so my solution to it was to run around and find a lit torch, light a stick on fire, and then you roll, and then that will set the spider web on fire, and then you can fall through it that way. So, to its credit, it is cool that you can solve puzzles in different ways. So I will give it that. That was kind of cool. But, like, I just popped in here to talk about Ocarina of Time. I literally spawned Ocarina 2 weeks ago. I've been practicing like crazy. That's awesome. Did you buy an Ocarina to play Ocarina of Time songs, or did you buy it for other songs? Because I feel like 90% of people who own Ocarinas are to play the songs from Ocarina of Time. Nothing wrong with that. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. Amelia, hello. I've been learning the song Scarborough Fair. That song made me buy one. Interesting. I have no idea what that is, but that's cool. The Zelda songs are definitely a bonus. I will say, as much as I am a Legend of Zelda hater, certified Legend of Zelda hater, definitely that is me. But Zelda's Lullaby, Song of Storms, Song of Time, brilliant music. I've never played The Wind Waker, but I have listened to the Wind Waker soundtrack probably a million times because I work with spreadsheets a lot. And when I'm deep in like a spreadsheet, I just turn on like video game music. I'll turn on like Legend of Zelda. I'll turn on Final Fantasy or Stardew Valley. Like a good video game soundtrack is perfect to put on in the background and just like concentrate to. So I love a good video game soundtrack that can let you concentrate. That's why like Nintendo released like their Nintendo Music app where you can listen to just like the Donkey Kong album or the Kirby album. That's one of the best things Nintendo's launched in a long time because I absolutely love just sitting there and listening to video game music when I'm trying to concentrate on something. It sounds like the definition of medieval travel music. I'll check it out. Very cool. Oh, all right. Unfortunately for all you who just joined, it is time for me to go do my chores and get ready for my actual day jobs. So we are just at the end of the stream. So sorry, Ben. I know you joined right at the end, but you got to the best part of the stream. Let's end with our prayer as always. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Lord, thank you for this blessed day, and thank you for all that you do for us. We continue to pray for all the people who are dealing with food insecurity, starvation, hunger, whatever it may be. Lord, help them. We pray for my local priest, Father Tim, who is going through a medical scare. He has asked for prayer, so please everyone pray for Father Tim as he is going through this medical insecurity as well. We pray for all the people who are going back to school. The students are going back to school here soon. Lord, help them to have a productive and good year as they move towards another year of learning and hopefully prepping to become adults and face the world as it is. We pray for all the people who are in school for the vocation of the priesthood, all the clergy who are going to become priests who are discerning the way. Lord, help them. And finally, we pray for those who are in purgatory, all the souls who've been forgotten, all the souls who have no one left to pray for them. Lord, help them. All this we pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. We will be back at it on Wednesday. I believe Metal Gear Solid Delta comes out on Thursday, so we'll probably be doing Helldivers again on Thursday or Wednesday to experience the new stuff that's coming out. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you Wednesday morning bright and early for the next stream. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.